What's good, everybody? It's your boy KP, man, and we're back with another video. Bleacher Report dropped an article yesterday stating that Ja Morant just bought a $3.2 million house in Miami ahead of all of these NBA trade rumors. New key players who signed deals during the summer are eligible to be traded. This is the time of the year where all of the trade rumors start to ramp up a lot. So many articles and so many rumors and so many talks just swirling around, and you kind of have to bob and weave through what's credible and what's not credible. But yeah, it looks like this season is going to be very interesting. Trey Young's trade to the Washington Wizards might be the highlight of this year's trade season. There are a lot of people who think that this is going to be a quiet trade season, especially compared to last season. It would be very hard to top last year's trade season with Luka Doncic going to the Lakers. And if Trey Young is the highlight of the trade season, then hey, I won't be mad at that at all. Morant was listed as an executor of a trust that purchased a $3.2 million home in Miami-Dade County on December 23rd, according to Lucas Fenton and DeMichael Cole of the Memphis Commercial Appeal. Okay, so December 23rd, that it is when a lot of these trade rumors started to ramp up. They didn't officially announce it until this past week after the Trey Young trade happened that they were looking for offers for Ja Morant, but clearly, we all know that this isn't the first time they probably had conversations this season. Things started to swirl up well before Christmas. So it does still fit the timeline of him purchasing a house in Miami. And from what I've seen with organizations these days, especially if it's a star player and the blood isn't that bad, they do tend to try to work with the player a lot more and send them to a destination that not only helps the organization, but helps the player. Yahoo Sports' Kelly Eco reported Wednesday that the Miami Heat have quickly emerged as an attractive option to Morant and his camp as potential trade destinations. That sounds a lot like how the scenario with Trey Young went. We kind of heard some talks. Someone emerged as a front runner. I thought it was a little bit of fluff, but it ended up being true. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Do you think the Miami Heat and Ja Morant are going to make something happen? Do you guys think it's a good idea for the Memphis Grizzlies to pull the trigger with the Miami Heat? And what kind of offers would they take for Ja Morant considering all of these circumstances? The other crazy news that I heard earlier this week was that Anthony Davis had an injury to his hand. And I know the Atlanta Hawks were the #1 contenders to get Anthony Davis on their team. But the Dallas Mavericks were asking for that pick from New Orleans, which is highly coveted at this time. So maybe talks were going to fall through anyway. From what I've been seeing and from what I've been reading, Anthony Davis is not going anywhere. And him injuring his hand essentially ended all those talks. But then something comes out saying that Rich Paul wants Anthony Davis traded by the deadline. Maverick sources say he won't bully us. And Rich Paul, I think he's known for voicing his opinion at this point, but it looks like he's close to crossing that line with some of these organizations. And, you know, I hear some talks about how if Rich Paul was my agent, I'd be highly upset. I wouldn't necessarily say that, but we all know how social media is today. Everyone has a voice and it travels fast and people are always going to have mixed opinions. I think the Dallas Mavericks should hold on to Anthony Davis. I would love for them to keep Anthony Davis. Cooper Flag come back with a year under his belt, a healthy Kyrie. You don't have to put pressure on Kyrie to come back this season just to make a playoff run. You can just start fresh next year, keep those vets, get their value as high as possible, and then look to trade them when they're on the back end of their contracts, especially after you've seen what they can do with Cooper Flag. That's what I would do if I was the Mavericks. So I don't really like the idea of Rich Paul trying to pressure the organization to trade him. But yeah, it is what it is, man. Crazy stuff. And this is just piggybacking off of the Anthony Davis situation. Ironically, yes, Rich Paul is the agent of Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and LeBron James, who were all on the Lakers last year before that Luka Doncic trade. And he also made some comments about Austin Reeves and saying how he would love for Austin Reeves to be traded. And the Lakers have not been happy with Rich Paul's podcast, Austin Reeves Trade Suggestions. This all ties in together While LeBron James agent and Clutch Sports CEO Rich Paul's podcast, Game Over with Max Kellerman and Rich Paul, has only been around for a short time, it has immediately caused all sorts of controversy. Never more so than in the last week, Paul offered up a trade idea in which the Lakers would move on from Austin Reeves for Jaren Jackson Jr. That's actually not a bad idea for Austin Reeves. And I believe the article that I read was he said something regarding Austin Reeves needing to get paid. He deserves to get paid. And if the Lakers aren't going to pay him, they should go ahead and trade him. And then I said in a previous video that I made that if the Memphis Grizzlies do indeed trade Ja Morant, they might as well go ahead and try and trade Jaren Jackson Jr. and just start completely fresh with a brand new rebuild. Ja Morant's trade value is pretty low right now, so they're not going to get too much for him. But if you throw Jaren Jackson Jr. in the mix and bring back an Austin Reeves, that could be a good rebuild going forward. And you have a bunch of young guys. Hopefully you can get a pick or two from somebody. I'm not sure how much those picks would be worth, but it's not a bad idea, man. And, you know, Rich Paul is probably trying to nudge the Lakers. And these organizations, man, they're so above regular people when it comes to power and influence. There's only so far they'll let you go with comments and trying to be passive aggressive with things. So not really a good look, but I'm not necessarily mad at him either. So one of the major key players that is eligible to be traded on January 15th officially is Jonathan Kuminga. And we also have the Minnesota Timberwolves with Naz Reid as well. But I've already kind of spoke on Naz Reid. I really don't see the Timberwolves moving on from him. It just doesn't make sense, especially with the success that they had with having three capable bigs on their lineup, even though Rudy Gobert does get a lot of slack. But yeah, Jonathan Kuminga is the other key player, probably the number one key player that is eligible to be traded. From the beginning, I knew that it just wasn't going to work out. I know business is business, and we try to, tell these players to not take things personal, but you could just tell that it had already reached this point as far as the relationship with Jonathan Kuminga and the Warriors. And they should have just found a way to let him go this summer. I'm not sure who's in that front office or who was being stubborn about the situation, but it's sabotage at this point. Just let the man go be free. And if he's such a cancer to the team, or if you guys don't feel like he's a good fit for the team, and then, just try to get the best deal that you can for him and just move on in peace, man. And try to give Steph Curry his best chance to win a ring in the next couple of years. The Sacramento Kings are reportedly unwilling to part with draft assets in a potential Jonathan Kuminga trade. The Golden State Warriors forward, who became trade eligible today, has been coveted by the Kings since his restricted free agency last summer and remains their top target ahead of the February 5th NBA trade deadline. Insiders. Now, I get it. As a business, you want to get the most assets that you can, especially when you're trading someone that you actually know is talented. And that's the thing. They know how talented Jonathan Kuminga is, but they're also just being stubborn with how they prefer him to play. And he knows what he's capable of. And he feels like if he goes to another team, he'll be able to showcase that and get paid a lot more than what he's getting paid now. So the Warriors, I get it. You're running a business, but you're also kind of damaging this guy's career. The Warriors are also hesitant on trade for Nets. Michael Porter Jr. originally appeared on the Sporting News. Among the countless trade rumors with the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets, Michael Porter Jr. has emerged as a potential suitor for teams. He really has some issues with the Denver Nuggets last year. I believe it was just team chemistry issues and him not getting along either with the coach or some key players. And there's a lot of controversy behind that. I think the Nuggets are actually doing pretty good. That Peyton guy is really balling out with everyone being injured. I did not expect Michael Porter Jr. to have the year that he is having, but these are the type of stats that we did envision him having way before he was even in the NBA and when he first got drafted. He's averaging 25.9 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, and 3.4 assists, shooting 49% from the field and 40% from three. That's crazy. He's a superstar role player, I'll tell you that much, man. If the Warriors don't take advantage of his availability, then I guarantee you somebody will. But also, Brooklyn may have a steep price for Michael Porter Jr., which may stall some trades from happening, and they may hold off until the summer at this point. Last but not least, man, we have Giannis. Giannis basically stated that he's never going to ask for a trade from the Bucks. That's not in my nature. And I'm pretty sure a reporter asked him that, but I just can't see Giannis leaving the the Bucks this year or ever really. But if he is going to leave, they're not going to do it mid-season. They're not going to stir the pot. I think the media is stirring the pot a little bit more because they know Giannis wants to win. They know rumors were circling around this summer, and people just want to see a superstar like Giannis do what the other superstars have done and change teams. But I think his heart is in Milwaukee, and it'll be similar to when Dame left the Blazers to come to Milwaukee. I feel like Giannis would regret leaving Milwaukee if he went to a situation and still wasn't able to win. Let me know what you guys think about all of these trade rumors so far. Things are going to ramp up a lot. There are going to be some trades that pop up that we probably did not expect, and there's probably going to be some that we did expect that are just not going to fall through. Let me know what you guys think of this year's trade season, and are there any trades that you would like to happen for your team? Thanks for rocking out with me. Peace.